Let's go.
You are about to experience the uncensored conversations, stimulating wit, and the thought-provoking wisdom. Bold, raw, and uncut. Right now, on the LanceScurv Show.
Hey, Lance, I really do appreciate us getting back together again. It's always a powerful and very insightful conversation. And tonight we're going to be discussing relationships. I'm going to be coming from my single woman's perspective. And, Lance has been blessed to be married and have a wonderful, beautiful queen by his side. So we're just going to share our thoughts, our perspectives, talking about, growing in relationships. If one person possibly outgrows, the other, or either if there's some insecurities in the relationships. And me, I kind of want to get some tea. I want to get some information. Like, what do I need to know as a single woman to, what should I be looking for, in my future husband? What can I see past, like, the facade, whatever it may be? Yes. What are those key things that I need to be looking for? So I'm really, like, sitting at my table with my cup of tea / cup of water. What I really have is a gallon of water next to me, trying to figure out what Lance can tell me so I can make sure I make the right move when I get in, whatever relationship that the Most High blesses me to be a part of. So, Lance,
yes,
it's so
indeed.
beautiful to connect with you, and I'm just always praying for you, and I'm thankful to have this moment in time for you, because it's always positive and insightful and encouraging.
Warrior Constance, it's always an honor and a pleasure, and I really appreciate the time that you spend speaking with me. And after that glorified introduction, I'm blushing over here, but I have to say that I learned so much from you, because you're sensitive, you're thoughtful, you're receptive, and you're an open book. And what I mean by that is that you let me know how you feel every step of the way in our conversations, and that teaches me a lot. So many people don't do that. In this society today, we pretty much try to cover everything up and just make everything appear to be perfect. Nobody's perfect, but it's not a crime to strive for perfection, knowing that we might not make it. That being said, to vibe with you once again, I know that it's going to be a lot of good coming out of it. And I may not know all of the answers, but I'm always going to be completely transparent in my experiences as a married man and as one time a single guy. And the good, the bad, the ugly, and what we can take from it that we can use and what we want to discard. But I do have a lot of experience. I'm not the guru, but I've been through a lot, and I'm willing to share, and I'm an open book. And trust me, we will share tonight.
I look forward to it. And, Lance, I just believe that being open, being honest is the only way. For so long, so much of my life, I was living, according to the will of man instead of according to the will of God, the will of Christ, the will of the Most High. And I was just, as I grow older, I understand the power of just living in my truth. I understand that I can't appease man. I understand that the more I dim my light for other people, the more I dim my light, I'm really cutting a part of myself off. So when you said being open and being honest, no, I'm not perfect at all. But I celebrate my strive to be better, to be a better creator, a better motivator, a better person overall. And I think that when we show people who we genuinely are versus a fake facade, more people gravitate to the person that we genuinely are versus the person that society says we should portray ourselves to be. Yes. I'm not an imitation. I'm not a fake person. So the only thing I can offer you or anybody that I'm around or know is who I genuinely am. You know, and that's going to come with some faults. That's going to come with some struggles. That's going to come with some, you know, insecurities. I'm a human being.
Exactly.
But it's also coming with confidence, with bravery, with strength and determination to work past these obstacles that the enemy places within our path. That's all we can do.
Explaining it that way and sharing your perspective that way, who wouldn't want to hold your hand in this journey called life? Because that's what it is. You know, it's a journey where we have to help each other heal and help each other grow. And it's nice to be able to walk alongside with someone who has that same attitude, and you have that. So many people in this world will focus on certain faults or certain things. They look for those things first instead of looking for that righteous attitude where we can do this together and we can help each other grow together. We can accept each other for those flaws that we may have and perfect each other, and then we can walk more confident in the world because we know we have somebody in our own personal team that's there to help us be better and who's going to tell us the truth. And what more could you ask for? So my question is, in this world, you're such a wonderful person, glowing spirit, wise. These men need to wake up and to see what a jewel you are. And I find that with many situations, I'm not bashing
what I can say about that is that I'm at a place in my life where I have genuinely embraced myself. So I think that light will always recognize light.
Yes, indeed.
And I think that things happen, and I'm going according to Scripture. You know, Ecclesiastes says at a certain time. There's a time and a place for everything. And I honestly believe I had to be at a certain place within myself to recognize my own value. Because if I couldn't see my own value, the man that will marry me one day wouldn't have been able to see it. So if I couldn't see my own value, I would not have been able to create a space for this great and brilliant man that the Most High is going to send my way. I now look in the mirror, and when I look at myself, I say, my God, she's beautiful. And I know a lot of people have come up to me throughout my life and said such disparaging things, especially when it came to my weight. I say to myself, I'm working on myself, Lance, but it's not for me to prove to the world that I'm working on myself. This is something to prove to Constance. This is not nothing to prove to the world. When I look in that mirror, I see beauty. I see strength. I see courage. And that vessel of light, whoever he is, whatever corner of the earth that he's coming from, he will recognize it, and he will cling to that, and he will be glad that the Most High opened that opportunity for him. All I believe in my heart, it's a matter of time. I don't believe it. You know, some women say, oh, I don't know, you know, this is going to happen for me because of my age or this. For me, I just believe it's a matter of time, and I'm in preparation. That's the way I look at it.
And that's a wonderful thing you just said, preparation, because every meal has a different preparation time, and every meal has to be prepared in its own time. You know, you can take a Pop-Tart and put it in the toaster, and it's out in a minute. And you can take a gourmet meal that you're preparing with the different dishes that go along with it, and it may take several hours. Well, guess what? The one that took a little longer, that might be the one that's more delicious, even though the Pop-Tart can knock off hunger from its high sugar content. That may not be good for you. And let me just also apologize that I do have a cold, so that's why I sound a little nasal on this end. But that's not going to stop anything because my spirit is feeling real high being here talking to you. But you're right. And you focus on yourself. You focus on generating that light from within yourself, knowing that that one is going to see that and be attracted to that, and it's going to be no question. As opposed to many of our sisters who, they sit there and they mark time, and they say, well, it didn't happen this year. Will it happen next year? After a while, many say, well, it's not going to happen at all. They could have taken that time and been working on themselves, loving themselves, embellishing themselves, preparing themselves for themselves, and also for that mate, for that man that's coming along. but many will waste that time. And we're all a work in progress if we work on ourselves. But we can get stagnant if we just sit down and not do anything and just feel that the universe owes us something. We've got to be, don't you want to make yourself better, a better version of yourself for when he shows up? And you mentioned weight. Let me just say this to you and to everybody who's listening, and I truly, really mean this. Weight is so far off the scale, because me coming from a bodybuilding background many decades ago, the body is a piece of clay. So you can pick a number and work toward it and get to that weight or to whatever size or whatever measurement, but what about the person on the inside? See, so there are a lot of women out here who another will say, oh, she's at an ideal weight. She has such a nice figure, but she has hell inside of her. Not that they do just because they have a nice body, but oftentimes we work on things in an imbalanced way. And there are a lot of women out here, I will say this as a man, there are a lot of women out here who focus on the physical because they use their physical as a weapon of control. And they use it in the battle of the so-called dating game. And they look at that thing differently than you do, because you're preparing yourself for that one person. But we have so many women out here, and men now. It goes both ways. But I'm going to say women because I'm speaking to a beautiful sister on the line here now. But we have many who are a turnoff because they're using it as a weapon. You are getting yourself together, mind, body, spirit, soul, in love. In the spirit of love. See, so there's a difference.
It took a long time for me to come to that conclusion. Lance, loving yourself, to me, I mean, I don't know about your journey in loving yourself, but loving myself was one of the hardest things that I ever had to do. And it shouldn't have to be so hard. But the more trials, the more tribulation, the more strength you get, the more you realize that the battle isn't for the weak, and you have to become strong. The more you realize that with each hurdle, there's more power, more growth, and you come. It's like a light bulb comes on. All this time, you probably don't know my life story, but I've always struggled with my weight. All this whole time, I was thinking that the only way that I would actually get somebody to love me is if I looked a certain way on the outside. Because from a little child, I was always told, you're so pretty, but you're so fat. And that thing stuck with me, and it made me not want to love myself, because I felt like if these people in my family couldn't see the inside of my heart and only saw the outside, if they couldn't love me, why would I need to love me? So my whole life, what I did is I became a people pleaser. If I couldn't love me, what I would do is I would just try to give all my love out to people. And Lance, that thing left me so empty inside. So I went searching for myself throughout the years and saying that the only way that I'm going to be loved is that I have to conform to what the world says beauty looks like. So I went and I started losing weight, and I still didn't love myself, Lance. I lost 170-something pounds. I was 85 pounds. I had surgery. I had the sleeve back in 2013. Lost 177 pounds, and I was working out like crazy. I was boxing. I'm a really good boxer when I box. I lost 177 pounds, got in a bad relationship with a guy that I met. It was based off lust. I'm not going to lie to you. Great career, 6'4",
understood,
body built like a basketball player, and it brought me my self-esteem down. I went into a bad depression, all because I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I was looking for love outside of myself. But then something clicked inside my head after that depression that I was actually worthy of love, because I started leaning to the Most High. And I had gained some of my weight back, like 70 pounds back. But it's funny. How do you lose almost 200 pounds, gain 70 pounds back, and then you start loving yourself. But see, this is the thing. There's no shortcuts in life.
Right.
No shortcuts. So God was showing me that I couldn't shortcut my way to a long-term lifestyle change. There wasn't a quick fix to my pain. A knife was not a quick fix to my pain. So the Lord had to make me do it the hard and the long way. And it hasn't been easy, but I tell you, it's a blessing. So from that 70 pounds, I'm down probably about 30, 40 pounds now. From that 70 pounds I gained back, and I'm on my way to my goal. And what I want to say to you, ladies, what I want to say to you, ladies and men, don't go out in this world, make it trying to get people to love you. You get with the Most High and you love yourself.
That's right.
You love yourself. And when you love yourself, that love is going to shine through. And when you love yourself, you're going to begin to take care of yourself. You're going to begin to make sure you are dressed up no matter how big or small you are. You're going to make sure that you care about how other people treat you and you speak up for yourself. When you start loving on yourself, that's when everything in this life begins to change. And you know what? Don't care about what the world says about you. That's the world. At the end of the day, you come home to your house. You better make sure that you're in peace because the world does not determine your value.
Right. Awesome, 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 awesome. I got to applaud what you just shared. How many people have come to a place in their life where they can just be so transparent? You know how people, I would never admit that. I would never say that. But you're really showing me that you're truly free. And that's so attractive, you know, in a woman that's truly free and embraces herself. And this is the thing, like, let's just say men in general, righteous men, they appreciate a woman who's comfortable in her own skin, no matter what the scale says. And that's the honest to God truth. You allow your personality and the love that's inside of you to shine out. And you don't temper it or hold it back or filter it because you're concerned about the packaging at that particular time. Whatever the scale will tell you, whatever it's supposed to be, will be. But like I said, the body is a piece of clay. Whatever you do to it, it will go there. That's not really the focus. It's about you shining out and you connecting with yourself. Because what I see every day, driving a bus, public transportation, I see so many people who are outside of themselves. They're not connected to themselves and the God inside of them and that God voice that talks to them. They're so away from that. They're reaching. Okay, you box. And you know what I'm about to say is the truth. When you're in your stance, you don't try to hit somebody that's too far away from you because you'll lose balance and you'll take away the power that you have. Even if it's not a power shot you're trying to throw, you'll be off balance. You can get knocked down. So when a person is outside of themselves, they're off balance on that spiritual and mental level and emotional level when they're reaching for something that's not coming toward them. And they render themselves ineffective and they're not connected to the mission, the battle plan. Because there are a lot of frauds out here. There are a lot of frogs out here, okay? And there are people, as you've learned, that will project a certain image. And yes, there will be on our side that lust factor, that physical attraction. We're in these human bodies. That's going to happen. You know, in a learning experience, that's not a crime that we were there at one time. But we move on and we learn from that. And that's really what it's all about. And being able to speak out to the world what you've been through, what you've learned, and that way you can put it away. It won't haunt you in the back of your mind when it's something that's not dealt with. Too many of us have baggage of things that we don't deal with. And we smile and we put on the facade, but we're hurting inside because we know that we didn't take care of it. Like a kid who goes to school on a Monday morning and didn't do the studies and didn't do the homework, he can act like he did. But when it's time to take the test, it's evident who studied and who didn't.
That is so true, Lance. And you know what I think is a hard concept? A hard concept for people who haven't come from a loving background genuinely. It's hard for them to receive love.
Yes.
It's hard for them to receive love or think that they're even worthy of it. I have a friend I was talking to, and I could openly say I love you to this person. And you can tell that they want to receive love, but they're still questioning it. Can somebody really love me? Yes. But the thing is, somebody can't really love you until you genuinely embrace and love yourself. Because see, you got to know your worth to know that you're worthy of something before you can receive it. Like me, honestly, I'm doing pretty good on the straight and narrow in terms of my journey, my weight loss, and I'm coming down. This whole time, I couldn't conceive what the Most High had given me a vision for, because I wasn't believing it. That's why I was going up and down, up and down. But now that I conceive, it's easy for me to not want to eat those bad things. It's easy for me to not want to hang around people who don't bring anything positive into my life. Now that I can conceive and I know my worth and the vision is clear because I wake up in the morning with the vision on my mind, I know that it shall be done according to His will. All I'm asking everybody to just really understand the point of actually conceiving the love that our Creator has placed within us. Because when you can conceive that, your relationships will be whole, will be happy. You won't be all over the place. You'll be in a place of peace and understanding. And you won't find yourself trying to prove yourself to people anymore. People, these are just people. They put on their pants just like you do. They eat just like you do. They're no better than you, no matter how much money they make, no matter what luxurious things they have, no matter how they try to portray themselves before the world. Because RealNet recognizes real all day long. And it's so important to understand your worth. If you can conceive that you are worthy of love, all the demons that are chasing people down, the spirits of rejection, the spirits of fear, everything, a low self-esteem, you can kill that in your life when you can conceive and understand your value. But you got to change your perception of yourself, and you got to change your perception of people, and to understand that their opinions really don't matter. It's the vision that our Father has given us and the ability to strive towards that vision on a daily basis.
So true. So true. Commitment. That's what it's all about. Not just to get quick fix. Many women and men do their own thing. And when I say women, I'm not just bashing women or speaking just about, because somebody who's listening to this may say, well, you're just talking about women, but it's men too. No, it's both. But we're addressing the sisters right now. It's nice to get a new hairstyle, but so many of us, and I say us, I'm not a woman, but I'm just speaking from that light, will go and say, you know what, I broke up with him, or I found him messing out on me. I'm going to get a new hairstyle. I'm going to get this new jewelry. I'm going to get this new car. I'm going to move away and get a better condo, and all of these external things to take care of an internal pain. We have to also embrace that pain. We don't want the pain, but we're not going to get away from it. If it's 10 parts pain, and we just deal with 2 parts of it and run to the world to fulfill getting that away, those 8 parts are still waiting for you, even though 10 or 15, 20 years went by. Even though that Mr. Right that is ordained, that comes to you and he's ordained, he's ready, and he sees the light that's inside of you, but there's a couple of stale, stagnant things on that refrigerator shelf that's going to make the rest of the food smell bad. We got to take care of those things. Cleansing. Find what our pain is. Now, if we can get rid of it completely, fine, but it's a lifelong journey. We've been hitting our leg on the coffee table all our life. We've been stubbing our toe, scratching ourselves here and there. We have scars that are not as evident to the world. And it doesn't mean that those scars make us less. What gives power to those scars is when we don't acknowledge them, but we know they're there, like a pile of bills on the dresser that you don't acknowledge, and in your mind it seems more than what it is, but how relieved we are when we call each creditor and work out a payment plan, and it's off of our chest now. So we've got to acknowledge those hurts. If we don't face them, they will never go away, and they will amplify and take control of your life and choke off any chance of you understanding who that person who's ordained to be in your life. It doesn't mean you're being negative by embracing that pain. Embrace it so that you can say goodbye to it. When you clean up your home and you run across an old document, an old paper, and for some reason it freezes you in suspended animation for a few moments as you look at it. It could be a picture of an old loved one that hurt you. It could be a picture, or it could be a document, an old bill that you paid off, and you're glad. Well, that's a victory. Well, once you throw it away, you're ready to move on to the next levels. There's so many levels out there to embrace. Just think right now, you made it this far. And there had to be times in our infancy on a spiritual level where we say to ourselves, oh, I don't know if I can make it. But you held on, and God held you and walked you through it. And so now we face other things in our growth because we're stronger now. So there are things that will challenge us that might have crushed us 20 years ago. But the bottom line is that we know that if we submit and do what's right, God will always carry us through. But we have to acknowledge and cleanse ourselves. Things that we think about, hurtful things that people say. It's amazing how many people preoccupy themselves with fighting their past. And they're in the present day with a present blessing knocking at their door. But they can't see the blessing because they're too busy reacting to that past. Turn around and face it. So you don't belong in my life anymore. You got to get out of here. Yeah, I may have had a little extra weight on me, but I know why. And it doesn't matter because I'm going to be loved anyway. Maybe my credit score wasn't as high as the next person. And you didn't want to be with me because I didn't have the purchasing power. But I can work on that. That can get better. But whatever it is that haunts us, we got to turn around and look it right in the eye and say, listen, you had a hold on me. You're not going to have this hold on me anymore because I'm working on you. First of all, you need to get out. This is not 1997. This is not 2004. This is not 2009. Heck, this ain't yesterday. You need to get out. Because you have a control or had a control of my life that I understand that I allowed you to have. But I'm stronger now, and I'm going to get stronger every day. And so you need to go, and I'm going to work on all the little shortcomings that I had that allows you to sink your claws into my life and suck from me like the leech that you are. No more. Face it, deal with it, pay that bill yourself, and don't allow it to have a strong hold over your life. And move on to the great destiny that God has for you.
Amen. That was a powerful, powerful, powerful message, Lance. That was very, very powerful. Very, very powerful what you just said. I mean, what you said about... Man, you said so much just now. You said so much just now. It was just like, wow. I really know that so many people are going to be blessed by what you just said. And I'm just trying to think, you said, because you were saying so much It would just, just touch my heart in such a way. I remember just now you said something about facing. Your overall message to me was facing those things. And I look at it as facing demons.
Yes.
When we started having that conversation, Lance, I'm going to tell you, I thank you because you've honestly also been a part of my growth. Because when we spoke a couple months ago, I really, really started examining my life. I was always examining it, but I was examining it on a deeper level. And I realized there were things in my heart that I needed to purge. There was the demons trying to continue to be attached to me. Those spirits don't belong to me.
That's right.
I had to really fight that stuff off. And one thing I learned, you cannot change anything that you do not face and that you do not embrace to some kind of degree. You cannot change anything, just like you said, that you do not face. And as much as you try to run from all these things that have plagued you in your life, or people in their lives, as much as they try to run, the change starts when you turn around and face it. Right. Don't run no more, people. Don't run anymore. All you have to do is face the thing that is staring you down and trying to steal the vision that the Most High has created for you. Right. All you have to do is face it, whether that's rejection, whether that's lust, whatever it may be, whether that's fear, low self-esteem, sexual addiction. All you have to do, alcoholism, all you have to do is face it. Declare and decree that that thing no longer has control over you. Once you come into the agreement with our Creator about who you genuinely are, that's when the shift begins to happen in your life. There has to be an agreement. See, you're either making an agreement with the devil, with demons, or either you're making an agreement with the Most High. And see, that agreement with the enemy is going to appear to be sweet. Because, see, it's always easy to go the way of the world. It's always easy to indulge into sin. It takes strength. It takes discipline. It takes guts. It takes endurance to adhere to the will of the Most High and adhere to the vision that He has in your life. So you're going to adhere to something. So why not adhere to the thing that's going to prolong your life and cause you to continuously ascend, and this one? Because let me tell you, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't, Lance, overeating doesn't make sense to me anymore. This is a thing that I had to question about my life. Do I really want to live, or do I just want to live to die? Am I living to die, or am I living to live, to be something, to grow, to continue to have this vision manifested? Am I going to live so the vision can be fulfilled, or am I going to live to die? I realized that every time I was overeating, I was willingly killing myself.
Yes.
Every time I'm eating something because of an emotional problem, I'm willingly telling myself, I don't love me. I am ready to die. And I looked in the mirror and I said to myself, I'm not ready to die. God didn't send me here so I can just live and die from obesity or for whatever it is. I'm not going to cause death in my life. I am choosing to cause life in my life. And that means staying away from certain people. That means staying away from certain foods. That means respecting my time, my energy, and my space. This is really a question that all of us must ask ourselves at some point in life. Do I want to die, or do I want to genuinely live? And that's the question that I had to ask myself. And I decided I wanted to live. I couldn't just play with my life anymore. It comes a time where you realize you can't play with your life. Let me tell you, you play with the devil and you always lose. He's going to trick you in your mind, and he's going to make you think you're winning because it's going to feel good to your flesh. It's going to feel very good, but you're losing and you're going down. But when you decide to follow the Most High, it's hard. Sometimes, especially when you ain't used to doing the right thing, you got to get in the flow and a groove of that. But it's the sweetest thing you could ever do for your life.
Yes. Beautifully said. Powerful, beautifully said. It feels good. And when you back away from it, I also have to say that whatever the indulgence is, Satan is slick. He'll let you, not that he's letting you, but he'll stay away from you for a while, for a time, and make you think you're winning. And then he'll come back with the very thing 25 times stronger. And whenever the joy extracted from that particular sinful indulgence will be 500 times sweeter. And you'll say to yourself, well, I'm falling, but this is just too sweet. And you're blinded and not even thinking about what you've given up. Not that it's impossible to get back up on your feet, but this is how he works. See, just like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, they can pick up, or Satan picks up your algorithms. He can't read your mind, but he can definitely see your tracks through history and what particular store you like to shop in. Now, it's not a store in this case. It's whatever particular sin that you like to indulge in. This is why, and I'll pick this as an example because, of course, it could be overeating. It could be addiction to anger because you're not facing what's inside of you, so you pick on other people and want to fight because you're really the one in pain. Or it could be an addiction to, say, pornography. Now, let's talk about that, since many of us men know about that but don't want to talk about that. Here you are with a thought in your head. Yes, you have a physical desire, but these are things put in your mind. And so you see something that you say, ooh, I like that. Now, I'll keep it decent, but we know the activity that goes along with viewing this type of stuff. Well, guess who's looking over your shoulder while you're doing this? So whatever particular fetish that you think that you're developing or you're into, or if I could only get that, I'd be a happy man. And there's so much in so many different categories to offer. Just the same way for a person who they feel as though eating is a release. Well, there's so many foods out there to get a sample of. Let me try this and see what I like. And it's euphoric. Or at least it seems so. But it only lasts but for so long. Now you told the enemy what you like. So guess what? Here you go, trying to be strong. And since he knows what it is that you like by the particular things that you are viewing while releasing yourself, he knows how to bring it to you in the form of a like-minded person that fits you lock and key in the very fetishes that you think the world doesn't know. We are energy. And we force energy. So if you keep thinking about something, you're going to help to manifest it in your life.
Why do we
let the enemy mind control us when we're the ones who have the real control over our mind? And wherever your mind is thinking, that's where you're going. See, I don't smoke crack, but I won't knock on somebody who does. But I don't smoke it, and my mind doesn't even think about that kind of stuff. But in my life, I've had to struggle with different thoughts on different things. And it's obvious what that was. So I've had to take control because that's the crack in my armor that the enemy would try to get in on. And we've got to know our cracks.
We do.
If you don't know that the window is cracked in the wintertime, you're not going to figure out where the cold is coming in. So we've got to know our so-called, I won't say weak points, but parts of us that need to be worked on. So you don't put yourself in a situation to fall. You box. You know if you don't keep your right hand up, you just might get hit with a left hook. You know if a person is coming in to brawl with you and you have longer arms, you keep that jab stuck in their face and keep them in a distance. Keep it moving. How you doing, gorgeous woman? Hanging out your clothes. Nice seeing you. I'm busy. Bye-bye. Because you know the cracks in your armor. So you have to be careful and know where our, I'll say, weaknesses, but it's just the potential for growth. But again, we have to embrace knowing and be brutally honest with ourselves to say, listen, I have an issue in this area, and I'm going to say it and state it, and I'm going to nurse that to strength. I'm not going to allow Satan to come against me and make it seem like it's okay. Do this one more time. Because, like I like to say, you never know when you're at home getting ready for the day if that's the last time you're going to see the inside of your home. I've seen many people in public while I drive my bus sprawled out, their head on one side of the road and the body on the other, and blood all over the place, and groceries on the back of that motorcycle that they were going home to cook and didn't know they already had their last meal in their stomach. This is no joke. It's not about doomsaying or scaring anybody, but Satan knows he cannot go where you go when you transition if you do the right thing. He doesn't have the promise of an eternal life. He's through. So he doesn't want you to have it. He doesn't want you to have what he can't have. So he's going to give your decadent mind all it wants so that you can give him on the salvation that God promised you.
I always say, Lance, I don't know much about pornography because I've never been into that, but I know whatever the addiction is, we have the power through the Holy Spirit that resides within us to trample over no matter what it is, whether it's food, whether it's sex, whether it's lust. And I know pornography can be a big thing for men because I've had men in my life that have struggled with that. And, that is not an easy struggle. Any sort of addiction is not easy to get away from. But I can tell you what breaks chains, and for me, it's honestly been fasting. Fasting breaks chains, and fasting in different facets, in different ways. And sometimes for me, going cold turkey from food and praying and crying out to the Most High for a week or 2 or 3 days, that just cleanses my spirit. Yes. And it breaks things off in the spirit. You know what the thing is? We have to consciously want to change. We have to consciously want to leave those things that defile us in the past. Yes. So I know it's not necessarily probably an easy thing, just like food. It hasn't been easy for me. But what I look at it is when you have a will to do something, the enemy only has the power that we give him. Those demons only have the power that we give them. Remember, we are the person that is living in this body. We are the physical person in its spirits, because this world is more spiritual than it is physical, that are trying to trap us. Spirits, things we can't even see sometimes. trying us to get us to go a different way. But when we recognize the true power and the true strength that lies within us, the access to the anointing, the access to the healing, the access to the redemption that we have that access. It resides within us. When we access it and we believe and we grab hold to it, we will understand the things of our flesh aren't that important. The things that our flesh desire. Food is not that important. Lust is not that important. I can't speak to pornography, but I can speak to lust because I have struggled with lust in my past. It's no longer a problem for me. I don't even think, I'm going to be honest with you. As a single woman, I don't even think about sex. I can see an attractive guy. I'd be like, he's attractive. I can say that in my head. But I don't even think about sleeping with him or sleeping, because this is the thing. I want to be right for my husband, Lance. Exactly. And by the time I get married, I think I'll be a born-again virgin. I think I'll be a born-again virgin. But in my past, lust.
You will be.
I'm telling you.
You will be.
It's been so long for me. I think I might be like one of the virgins you see on TV. Huh? You might be, Lance, I might be like one of the virgins you see. You know them people, them Amish people, some of them people who ain't never had sex before marriage.
Exactly.
But
no, but
what
that's
I
the way
want to
it is. Yeah, but that's the wonderful thing. Too many people feel as though they're tainted for life if they did this or they did that, but healing involves all levels to the point where, and I'm going to tell you how it is, it'll erase certain memories from your mind where you can't even recall the name of somebody that you may have been involved with years ago. You don't even think of them. You don't see it that way. And as far as the pornography thing, I would say it this way. It goes hand in hand with lust. And all these things, whether it's an eating addiction, whether it's anger, whether it's all of this stuff, it hits the pleasure center of the brain. See, no matter what road you take to get there, that pleasure center gets hit. So it may be a different road that you don't understand, but the eating, the overeating, and the pornography, it ends up in the same place. And even though it tears one up in different ways, it tears you up. You see, so that's where he wants to bring you. So he'll take us down any road as long as at the end we lose our eternal life and salvation. That's the main goal, because, like I like to say, people say, well, you got to live. And listen, it's not a good deal that Satan is offering you, because if you live to 80 years old, if you live to 100 years old, if you live to 5,000 years old, 5,000 years is no comparison to eternity. So we get so caught up in the now.
And that's how he tricks people, Lance. He tricks people their whole lives into giving, into indulging into sex, into lust, into all these different things, whatever it may be, food. And then people, whether they die of a heart attack, whether they die of a sexually transmitted disease, if they never believe the vision that Christ has given for them, then they'll lose out on their whole life. You know, life is but a vapor. I just had a cousin that passed away the other day from heart failure. And it was a wake-up call from congestive heart failure. It was a wake-up call. He was 46 years old. Life is but a vapor. So when you realize the importance of your life, the importance of your soul, you want to protect it. And these things that the enemy sends, they're distractions to take you off course and take you, because this is the thing, if he can keep you distracted, he can keep you feeling shameful, feeling guilt. He can keep you in that mode. You will never accomplish the things that the Most High has for you to accomplish.
That's right.
But with lust, I prayed for deliverance. I really did, Lance. Like, I prayed that the Most High would deliver me, and he did. I prayed that the Most High would deliver me. And I say that, Lance, because I used to think that all I had to offer was my beauty.
See?
So I didn't think that I didn't think there was nothing to me. People used to tell me I was dumb, I was stupid. You know, I used to be extremely quiet and have an extremely low self-esteem. And I felt like because I didn't love myself,
wow,
I was just giving in to the lower. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't slept around a lot. I've not like I've been a big time out there woman, because I was never like that. But my self-esteem was low, and I made decisions that weren't good. You know, and I thought that, okay, you know, I could lean to that. I could lean to my beauty since I didn't have anything else. And that was a lie from the pit of hell. It was a lie. The enemy wants to defile man. He wants to defile you in any way he can. Why do you think people who've been on drugs for 20 and 30 years look so bad? People who've been on meth look so bad. Lance, we are empaths. We can see spirits attached to people. We can see struggle on people easily. Why do you think? Because the enemy seeks to defile God's creation. Because man was created in God's image. The enemy seeks to defile you any way he can. And he starts that at a young age. And when he can convince you that you're dumb, you're stupid, you have nothing to offer this world, then he can get you to give in to lust, to fear, to rejection, to anything this demented, so that you can be accepted to some level in society or just by people in general. But you know, the wonderful thing about Christ, he gives you the opportunity of redemption to take your power back. And you can take it back at any time. You just must come into agreement with the vision that he's placed within your life. That's why I said the Lord took so many things away from my life. He took the spirit of lust, he took that away from me. He took so much away from me, and the enemy kept coming back, kept trying to fight me. You know, when he's fighting you, you know you're something good. You know you're somebody great. If he's coming after your life like that, you know you got it going on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking like, if I really got it going on like this, then I need to believe what Christ says about me versus what the enemy is trying to get me to do and accept. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. I'm not less than. I'm not what people say, but I am God. I'm the Most High's creation. I am what He who is above and also with me says.
Your value, knowing your value. And we get ripped off. It's like that person who goes to the pawn shop. They may need a little cash, but they go to the pawn shop and they know that what they're offered is much less, but they're so desperate for that cash of being validated, that cash of being loved on a shallow level, that cash of getting away from what demons they think, but they're paying a demon. The demon's paying them far less. We shortchange ourselves. You got to know your value, because look at this. You are beautiful mentally, physically, and spiritually, and you don't want to shortchange yourself and the value you have for these people who just want a low bid. They're the ones getting over, and they're pulling from you. Isn't it something how you can have many men out here who will wine and dine a woman and say all the sweet things, but once they get to the point that they wanted to get to, the phone calls stop. They don't come around anymore. And if they do, it's not with the same intensity. They got what they wanted, and they weren't the ones. And there's no shame in that. That's part of the learning experience, that they weren't the ones. And that's why you got to hold on to yourself, no matter how long it may take. Because when all pistons are firing, when that fruit mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, when that fruit is ripe, and it's been waiting for that one who has the view to see how ripe that fruit is. Not just somebody who doesn't want the responsibility of climbing the tree. You climb the tree, you risk breaking your neck. But it's worth it to get that fruit. See? So many men don't want to make the climb. They don't want to scrape their knees or their legs to climb or risk falling. Yes. If it's worth it, they're going to come after you. Not just with a cheap one-liner. Yes.
I was saying that because sometimes when I interact with men, they say it's just too hard. So what you're saying, I so relate to, because sometimes if I meet somebody, I've heard that I'm expecting too much. No, I'm not. I'm going to. A man has told me before, not maybe a couple months ago, we were about to start seeing each other, and I told him I was not going to have sex with you before marriage. Right. I am not going to have sex with you before marriage. If you value me, you need to respect what I believe in for myself, and I would want somebody who honors their body. Because this is the thing: if I'm honoring my body while I'm single, I deserve somebody else who's honoring their body while they're single. Because I could be out in the streets doing my thing too, but I choose not to. So I'm not going to have somebody that tells me that they can't wait, or that if they do want to be with me, that they're going to be sleeping with somebody on the side while we're together. That ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen, brother. So when I come across men and I let them know, who I am, a lot of them just fall off immediately. I ain't gonna lie, man. So it's not like men are coming in my life trying to date me or trying to develop a relationship, but it's not. They think it's too hard. Some of them think it's too hard. I don't know what it is, but it ain't that hard. You just gotta do the right thing, brother.
You know what it is? Credit card lust is a lot easier than layaway love. What do I mean by that?
Oh, that's deep.
Well, with the credit card, you can get whatever you want now and you pay later. With the layaway love, you got to put down on it and wait to get it, but you have to make your payments over time. See? Both, you can get the product, but when you get it too fast, you don't want to pay. You don't want to pay the respect. You don't want to pay the commitment. Layaway love is the only way to go. And we live in a credit card society, in a microwave society, where we get so much so fast. So we translate that also into the relationships. And it will never be right when you think that way of credit card lust. Because there's always going to be the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And you don't identify what's in that one. A man has an organ. A woman has an organ. Doesn't mean you got to go sampling out. Because now, and I'm saying it as a man, because I remember and I know, it diminishes your perception of each individual woman if you're running through individual women and playing games. It's a blur. This is why men will call out another woman's name when they're engaging in the act, or they're thinking about who they saw at the mall, or they went to what they say they love. So many men will use love to get sex, and so many women will portray a sexual being, but deep down inside, they want love. They both shortchange each other.
Yes.
So we got to be real, and you are their best friend for stating to them, this ain't happening, baby. If you value me.
Man, you think I wait all this time to be what I consider myself, not praising myself in any way, a good woman, taking care of her business, doing what I'm supposed to do, not sleeping around, not giving in to temptation, to have somebody come and tell me you ain't worth it, if you're not going to sleep with me in a certain amount of time, I'm not going to. Well, go ahead on, brother. Go ahead on, brother man. You know, because, listen, I know my worth. So if you don't know it, that's your problem. But I'm not going to allow you to bring down what I know I'm worth. And I did a video recently, and I said that I was speaking to the women on my channel, the right person will see you. You know, so we're in a world, people are so full of delusions. They're so, you know, wrapped up in so many different things. Everything is so easy to get. You know, having a relationship means nothing, has no value a lot of the times in the society that we live in. But real recognize real, and the right person will see the value in you and respect that value. So I know that the men that were coming up to me, they would just come up to me because they probably thought I didn't know who I was. So if a person, you know, and it doesn't matter how you portray yourself, because when I'm out in the streets, I carry myself very well. But people will always test you. They don't care. The devil is going to test anyone at any level. You just have to be ready for the test. That's how you know where you're at. That's how you can judge what's really going on within your heart. Is when that test comes, and that magnifying glass is put up to your life. Are you ready for the test? Are you really living like you say you living? So when these people come up to me, it lets me know that I see my value, and that what I say about myself, I really genuinely feel, because that's what I'm conveying. And it lets me know that there's someone out there that will respect it. So it's not a hunger for me, because it's just a simple knowing. I'm not hungry, but I know. And that's the difference. That's why I'm not giving in to these flaky people who may come along every now and then and say, well, you know, you seem nice, you seem like a good woman, but, you know, I honestly can't be in a relationship where I can't sleep with a woman after a certain time. Well, that's you, brother. See, that's you. I'm not a person. I'm clean. I'm STD free. I can give you. I go to the doctor sometimes 2 and 3 times a year. I can give you my paperwork. But see, if you ain't coming to me with all that baggage, you done slept with 20, 50 women, and now you think you're going to sleep with me and I should be the same as all these other women. No. And you know what? I think it speaks to when people are doing those things, I think that they really genuinely don't value themselves either. Because a lot of people say, well, let a man be a man. But no, your body is your temple. Your body is your temple. And when you give into sex and the lust and all these things, you're letting demons in, spirits in. Those things can be attached to you for years. Soul ties. You know, people don't understand the spiritual consequences to the physical act of sex. And that's why people's minds are so warped, because they don't understand the spiritual consequences. I've been in relationships before where it took me 3 and 5 years to get over a man that was out of my life in 2 years. That's because that spiritual consequence was still there. That's why I see sex. I don't see sex as like drinking a glass of water like some people do, or like, oh, it's just a fun act to do. No, this is a spiritual world we live in. There are demons associated with people. And those spirits can stifle your life, bring your whole life down, cloud your judgment, cloud your perspective, leave you in a delusional world. And you're craving these things that you didn't even used to crave before, that aren't of the Most High, all because you opened yourself up naively because you were feeling a little something in your flesh. You got to get a grip. You got to get a grip, because, you know, you don't want to mess your whole life up just because you have a certain feeling. You don't want to mess your whole situation up. You don't. And people don't think about it. We got to think seriously about the things that we're deciding to do. It has to be serious, because everything that we do that ain't right has a consequence. It has some kind of consequence associated with
it. Consequences. We don't think about that. Because like you said, it's like drinking a glass of water. We think it's all over with. So we're tied into a lifelong or eternal contract with the act that we perform that we forgot about. And it's compounded. And we wonder why we have aches and pains and mood swings. Many people who are deemed to be bipolar, I've wondered, I'm not a doctor and I can't say, maybe there are some people like that. But I've always thought to myself, are these people who have multiple soul ties with other people, and we're connected like nerves in our body? That even if there's a person from 10 years ago that you've gotten over for the most part, but maybe 3% of a connection is still there. But that person you dealt with last year is still a 75% connection. And the person you dealt with maybe 5 years ago was stronger. There's a 95% connection. So you have all of these strings and ropes and chains pulling at you. So you say that you have a goal of accomplishing something in your day, but you find yourself standing around befuddled, not knowing what's wrong with you. I want to get this thing done, but the clock is moving around so fast. Why can't I move? Why am I angry? Why am I this way or that way? These multiple soul ties that I believe we have that a medication or a pill cannot take care of, it requires cleansing and cutting off those soul ties and being alone, letting that decay and that erosion get away. And sometimes, just like that snake or that leech that gets on your skin and refuses to get away, you have to cut away even some of your flesh that he's holding on to get that leech off of you. And it can be very painful where we don't want to do that. But these soul ties and these people will take a little bit away from us and will be working at a reduced rate. Our power that's God-given is taken away, and that's all they're doing. The physical act may feel good, but you're giving up some of your life force. Do you go to the store to purchase batteries and purposely run the batteries down before you really need them? Well, let me put this battery in a flashlight and turn the flashlight on and go to bed. But when you wake up and you need the battery out of that flashlight, is it any surprise that it has little or no charge? Well, this is what we're doing with our life. We walk outside. It's like a football game. And we have the ball. We have 100% charge, hopefully, of life force. And we walk out and we see somebody cut their eye at us a certain way, or chuckle, or say, look at her, she's fat, or look at him, he's bald, or I heard about him, he can't do his thing in bed. And so now, if I'm a foolish man, I'm going to go out and try to prove to the world that I can. If I'm a foolish woman who got that weight joke put on her, yes, it does not feel good, but you're not going to overreact and try to get your value by attracting this next man and him telling you what you want to hear, words that he might not even mean. So we got to get to the source, and the way to do that is to go to that control panel in your house when you blow a fuse. You don't sit there and mess around with the bulb, or a circuit breaker goes off and mess around with the bulb. The bulb is not going to give any indication of what it is. You've got to trace it back to the circuit breaker, the control box, inside, deep, and figure out which one is tripping off. Because where you stand and what is evident is an indication of what may not be as evident. What's causing this? Why am I allowing this? Let's get to the root of it. And in every single instance, it involves cleansing and detoxifying yourself, even if it's not sexually transmitted demons on the spiritual level or the sexually transmitted diseases. Whatever it may be, cleansing is the way to go and the first step to healing.
Amen to that. Amen. Cleansing is the first step to healing. But how do you cleanse, Lance? What does cleansing look like?
Removing everything that's in that wound. Removing everything that's in that place. Because where we hurt the most is the part that usually that demon will attack us. See? Mm-hmm. So when we, and most of us don't know how to heal a cut, really. All we know to do is to clean it, cover it.
Yep.
And let time go by. Well, the same thing is required of us. We have to clean it. Get away from the activities. Get away from the people that bring you to that place. And take you to that place where it triggers you off to do what you do. How many times have we seen that woman who really has a sane mind and carries herself a certain way, and her girlfriends bring her to the bar, girlfriends that really don't like her, and they will buy her drink after drink and sit there and watch her make a fool of herself and take joy in that. Well, this is what these demons do. And that woman may have an issue with drinking. But it's not just the drinking, it's another thing deeper than that. So first of all, she's got to cleanse herself of that situation. She's got to get away from those people who don't care for her. She's got to find the root of the wound and cover it and protect it and pray and toil and seek the Creator's face, but stay away from it. You don't get a cut and heal the cut by constantly opening up the wound and taking off the scab. You leave it alone to heal away from what cuts you. You keep hitting your leg on the same part of the coffee table and the same part of your leg, and it opens up the skin. It's never going to heal. You're just going around in circles. Look how many of us are going around in circles in our lives. Every year they have this thing called New Year's resolutions. Every moment of my day is time to make a change. I should be scanning myself for ways to improve, for ways to heal, for ways to get better and closer to the path that the Creator wants me to go. Because you know what? We've all gone down the wrong path. And there's some paths, well, all of us have paths that we traveled that we would never admit to. I can tell you, I've been some places make your eyes fall out of your head. So I speak from experience. You don't want to go down those places anymore. And God preserved you to live. And Satan also knows that your life here on this level is limited. We all know that our heart is going to beat, but so many times we just don't know. There is a day and a time and an hour that we're going to transition. Will we be ready for that trip? How can we go on a trip and not have our bags packed? What a sad thing that is. To run around at the last minute, you didn't pack your toothbrush, you didn't put your undergarments or the shoes, and you're scrambling around, but the flight is going to leave at a certain time. Or are you going to miss that flight? There's no next flight. You can't say, well, yeah, we're going to transition, but we can't go back and say, hold on, God. Let me go and take care of this problem that I've had all these years that I've been living before I come with you. No. Whatever's on the scorecards, the final bell has rung. It doesn't have to be the final bell if you're prepared. That can be the beginning because like I always say, this lifetime that we have is only a short pit stop to eternity. But this will decide what's going to happen next. I don't care what anybody says. That's also common sense. What you do in the second grade is going to determine which particular class you're going to go in the third grade. Yeah, you can say we're all going to die anywhere, but we all ain't going to the same place, baby. You can rest assured
Lance, you are so right about that.
We can decide now.
Right about that.
We can decide now. If all I got to eat, brown rice and kale, and drink plain water, alkaline water, if that's what's required for me, so be it. If I'm not to ever experience another orgasm in this life, if that's what's required, then so be it. If I'm not going to hear this music that I used to listen to, which doesn't affect me, you see, but I like certain beats, it brings back certain memories of good stuff. But if I've got to let that go, we've got to be willing to let go. See, we lie to ourselves. I'm not saying you or I, but most of us lie to ourselves because we'll go to the service and talk the talk and talk the holy talk and stand the holy way. But if our thoughts were amplified, we'd be really surprised as to what people are thinking around us, which doesn't take us off our path, but it lets you know that others and other people and pleasing these flawed people who don't want to clean up their dirty backyards shouldn't matter. You walk the pristine path and reach for that constantly, because at the end of the day, it's not the next person's score that's going to be put down as a result from you taking your test. I like to say, when other people say, well, I'm not hungry, Lance, and if I'm hungry when I was younger, I said, well, listen, my brain is bigger than my stomach. My stomach is not connected to your brain, so if you're not hungry, I'm not going to sit here and pretend. I'm hungry. I need to eat. I need some nourishment. We get this thing jumbled up too much where we're in relationships with people, in friendships with people, and yes, we're all together, and we're all going to go down this together. Have you ever noticed that no matter what city you've gone to in this world and in this country, you will always see that liquor store with the guys who are all alcoholic sitting out there on that wet couch that somebody dumped right there, and they're sitting out there in a drunken stupor with that stray dog that always seems to hang around them. They've agreed non-verbally to say, we're not striving anymore. We're going to stay right here and drink. And as long as you agree to not push harder or higher, then we agree. So now we don't have to feel bad as we all drop dead and mess up our livers and our kidneys. So many of us stick our head in the sand like that. And we have people around us that want to hold us right there, crabs in the barrel style, but very subtly. They're crabs that smile. They're crabs that will even lift you up with one hand and turn around and use the other hand to pull you down so you don't know it's them. The crabs in the barrel are like crackheads. Sorry to throw off on anybody who may have been called that, but it's not to be venomous, but I'll say it like this. A crackhead will steal something from you and come back and pretend to help you find it, knowing good and darn well they stole it and you're never going to find it, but they have deceived you because you say to yourself, wow, what a friend I have to come back and try to help me find what I lost. And in relationships, we have many men who operate that way. They'll come to you with a righteous word. They'll come to you projecting what you want to see. And in your need and being human, we reach. But we have to stay in that place of healing. And they have to be in a place of healing because, of course, they've walked the path. So if you say nothing's happening until marriage, but right before when the wedding date is set, here they come 2 weeks before, that's not the person for you. They're playing games. In time when things are to be right to happen, it will happen. But you never reach. No boxer who's successful reaches for a punch. He waits for the right chance to come. He prepared by running. He prepared by dieting and eating the right foods and getting his rest, doing his sparring. The opportunity always comes. That made for you always comes. But you have to be prepared so you can take that knockout of a wonderful life when it comes.
You were breaking up a little there towards the end.
Yeah, I wonder. I kind of heard that on the phone. Hopefully it went through. I think it's because of where I'm positioned in the room here.
Okay.
I've been holding pretty still. And earlier you had broke up a little bit, but we'll see how, everything. I'm not taking anything out, but if I have to take out like 10 seconds to make it make sense, if it did break up or something, I will. But we're on this good flow, and I promise I'm going to have everything fixed within a few days.
Mm-hmm.
So when that feeling hits us again, we can continue on. But, oh, what a flow it is tonight.
Mm-hmm. It's powerful what you were just saying, Lance. I mean, you said so much. Every time we talk, I always am learning. So I genuinely appreciate having the conversations that we have. And
yes.
I remember what you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I remember what you said earlier about the fruit on the tree and how when it's ripe and it's ready, and what you said about the boxer, about being in preparation, about, him running, him eating healthy, all in preparation, whether it's for his fight or his next event or whether it's to work out.
Exactly.
That part is so powerful, understanding that we are in preparation through this process. We don't know when certain things are going to happen in our lives, but we must prepare daily.
Yes.
And when you mentioned about those people, like the people that are drunks or they gave up, that are, at the corner store sitting on that couch, I could see that literally in my mind. And I see people like this, and I wonder to myself what happened. Because there's a guy that I see every day. It's a homeless guy. He stands outside all day long. This guy is young. He's probably around my age, in his 30s. And he just stands there. And I just wonder, what happened to you to make you want to just stand there? Now, I don't know what his purpose is. Maybe he's helping people. Maybe he's doing something that I'm not aware of. But I don't understand sometimes what makes people stop. I know pain is tremendous. We've all been through so much pain in this life. And sometimes it's incomprehensible. Sometimes we can't understand it. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. But there's a lot of things in life that I feel like I will not learn until I meet our Creator. So I have to make peace with knowing that I will never know certain things while I'm here.
Right.
I will never understand certain things. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And, it's okay. But whatever we do grasp or what we have been blessed to absorb, it's like this. You go to the all-you-can-eat place. And maybe this is a bad example, but this is something that people can understand. The beauty, and right. And see, I'm speaking to somebody who has admitted that in the past that, that's been an issue. But I identify with that because there's a time in my life when I was eating a lot. There was a time in my life when I had such a beautiful body.
Uh-huh.
And here I am 17, 18, 19 years old with this body. And the women who wanted me, young, old, in the church, pastors' wives, all kinds of people, they didn't love me. And that hurt when I realized that. And I stopped at 22 years old doing what I do in the gym and competing. And I began to eat because I didn't want that body no more. I didn't want to attract anybody like that anymore. And people were like, guys in the gym were like, what are you doing? I was like, I can't do this no more. I'm not doing this no more. And I walked away from it. And I didn't lift weights ever again because that was something for me that brought me into a space, and I mastered it. I'm the 1982 Teenage Mr. America, drug-free.
Wow.
I won competitions all up and down the East Coast and placed high. There are other people who beat me, and I beat them back, but I never used steroids. And I was ahead of my time knowing about nutrition. I said, to heck with this. I'm going to IHOP. I'm going to eat 3 big things of pancakes. Oh, Burger King has $1 burger. Let me go there and get 20 of them. And I knock off 15 of them before the next morning. And the other ones are cold.
Are you serious?
I don't care. Yeah, I'm going to find a picture of me with about 25 burgers from Burger King. I got to find that picture. I don't know where that picture is.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You ate 25 burgers?
Yes. Not at one sitting now, but continuously until it was done. I got the picture.
I thought thought you meant one sitting. Because, you know, when I overindulge, I look at it as 2 burgers and a fry and a Coke. That's overindulging for me, and like an apple pie or something.
What?
I don't eat that kind of food no more. But that's what that was overindulging for me. But it was the fact that I wasn't moving. Like, the thing with large people, a lot of us don't even eat a whole lot. Sometimes it could have been one meal for me, but I wasn't moving and I was depressed.
Right.
And sometimes I did overindulge, but when I think of 25 burgers, I'm like, wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can find that picture. I know it's up on some social media, and it must be up on my site somewhere. But you're going to crack up. That's proof of the pudding. And that was in 1985. But I went in one competition in 85, but I started that journey back in 84. 84, I started really like
4 years old.
Isn't that something? Isn't it something? And I was known by people who didn't know that I lifted weights and worked out, was a former bodybuilder. Of course, you can still see it on me. But there were some Jamaicans that I knew that I hung out with for a time. Long story. And their nickname for me was Food Man. Yeah. Food Man. Boy, around the line, lick up so much food them. Yeah, man, you can't find nobody that eats more food than Food Man. You don't want to take them to no restaurant. You have to take them to the all-you-can-eat restaurant or you'll go bankrupt. When they would see me at the all-you-can-eat sushi place, the Japanese would go crazy. Oh, God, they go, our profit. Profit gone now. Yes. I'd get my book. I'd get my headphones. I'd go to the sushi joint and go in the corner. I didn't want to see nobody. I would go by myself and get there about maybe, it would open around 5. Well, I'm leaving at 11. I made multiple trips to the restroom and made more room and came back. I had it down to science as to how much to be hydrated, what foods to eat hours before, because you never go hungry to an all-you-can-eat place. Anybody who knows it down to science understands that. And I took my time, and they were mad. They were putting the extra wasabi up under the rice to burn my mouth. I'm like, nah. I had it down to a science.
Oh,
and the lowest point for me was me, and that went on for a long time. See, I knew when I was slick, I know my body. I know how to back off a little bit and maintain a certain weight, but really and truly, and I'm going to post the pictures up, when I got married, and I won't say it on the recording when, because there's so many people, wait, I'll tell you the exact date, but I was about 310 pounds.
Oh,
and
wow.
For me, drastically to not be moving, I still had muscle on me, but I lost a lot of muscle from that training. I looked so different to the point where I would show people old pictures and old photos from my competition days. They're like, you're lying. That's not you. I was like, wow. What happened to you, Lance? You got so fat. Even now. I was known for being lean. But even that was a reaction to other things. See? Because I had a lot of anger, not from my household. I had a wonderful childhood, but I began to see how myself as a black man was viewed in this world, and now you're not that handsome, promising young kid no more. You're a threat because look how big and strong you got. So I had multiple reasons for changing over that way. And I've learned to live with myself. I've learned to live with my flaws. There are people who are still trapped in that world. It's almost like a person who does beauty pageants, a woman. That's some of the most uptight people that I know are in that. It's so superficial. I'm free from that. I was known for my abdominals, my intercostals, my low body fat being sliced to death, the way they would say it. Not dying, but, man, you don't have any body fat. I would flex up and stand in front of a mirror in the gym, and there were guys who were bigger than me. Like, my God, how do you get like that? I'll tell you, 1982, all I had was lean fish, mostly tuna fish, pineapples, vegetables, a couple of egg whites, and water. That's what I ate all year. I started out the year in shape. And by the time October came, I don't know if you ever saw that photo of me when I was in shape that I used to put up on Facebook, but by the time that time came, When I stepped on stage, it was a wrap. There were guys on steroids. I kicked their behind. They were bigger than me.
Wow.
But what I'm saying is that I took it to that extreme. The training and every day, 6 days a week, bike riding, posing, running, fanatic. That was a reaction, and the pendulum swung the other way. Because before it swung the other way now, there was the decadent behavior with lots of women. And it wasn't hard to attract that because the body thing going on. And then having the gift of gab and a little personality, that was a wrap. So Satan was using my attributes against me. That's why it's surprising to many people. Man, I can't believe I'm seeing you in 2018, Lance. I wouldn't believe it if I saw you in 1990. Yeah. So I know about that. And now I shouldn't have stopped maintaining my body. But I associated that with the behavior, and I said, okay, this is what you want, it ain't going to exist no more. And it never stopped until I consciously, because now they were coming at me because of the personality. Well, you put on weight, but you're still funny, and I like being around you. You know the things to say. So, God, how do I kill my personality? So now I got to go deeper in my healing.
You don't. You just avoid the trap. That's all.
Exactly. But I started keeping my mouth shut. I started looking mean. Boy, he looks so mean. I'm cracking up inside, but I'm like, oh no, she's too pretty. I got to look mean. I told a couple of them I was gay. How you doing? What's your name? I'm like, listen, sweetheart, I'm not going to waste your time. We can hang out or whatever, but, I'm more interested in your brother who came with you. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, he's gay. What a waste. And there's some people out there who think, he told me that years ago. I was trying to get away from the trap. One day I'll tell you the story how it saved my life, too. Yeah. Wow. It saved my life. It saved my life. I was somewhere after a adult display of in the nightclubs and the dancing and all this stuff, and I did that stuff too. And there was a young lady who wanted to hang out a little bit after, and we did a little too much. And 4:30 in the morning, she's telling me, "Get off of me." I said, "Why?" "Well, my husband is home."
Oh my goodness!
And I'm like, yes. Now I had jumped out of a window before in my life on the second floor and landed next to an iron gate that would have shish kebabbed me if I landed there right. So I know about that. Pulling off clothes off a clothesline of people next door in the middle of the night and running out in the street, not knowing. Huh? Now I'm 6 stories up, and this dude looked like George Foreman with the rolls in the back of his neck. Ain't nothing scarier than a big black man who's a correction officer who got them rolls in the back of his neck. To me as a child, that terrified me. So I wasn't jumping under the window for the 6th floor. So I said, listen, there's only one stairway up, and it was narrow, and he was already up to the 3rd floor. And I was trying my best to find that sock and this shirt and this and that, and I don't know how I jumped into everything, but I know I had a T-shirt on. And she was like, "What are you going to do? He's going to know I'm coming out, or you're coming out from this apartment." It was like 4 in the morning. It was obvious what was going on. I went into the bathroom, and I found some relaxing cream. I yanked out a chair in the middle of the living room, put all the lights on, and took my T-shirt and tied it around my waist where you can see my navel. And I had Jerry curls, and I'm high yellow, so high yellow guys with Jerry curls. In the minds of many, you already halfway there to being gay. So with the T-shirt on, and when he walked through the door, I was like, oh, God, what a waste. If he was on, he's straight, boy. If he only liked me. You got some good taste, honey. And she didn't need to have her hair relaxed. But you're going to save my life today, and I'm the gay dude doing your hair. You can rinse this out when I'm out of here. So we didn't have cell phones back then. I mean, I guess a handful of people did. This was 1983. Yes.
Wow.
And so I said, oh, my God, I don't think I locked my car door, and I got some precious things in the front seat. And he's looking at me like, oh, who is this guy? And I said, if you ever think about going my way, baby, just so I had to go out to my car that wasn't out there. There was no car out there. I took the train over there. But that was my way of getting out. And I told her, I'll be right back.
Oh, my goodness, that is hilarious.
The only thing I forgot to find was a prophylactic that was there in the bedroom. Well, they can argue over that. I'm out of here. Feet don't fail me now. So as I got downstairs and ran up the front door,
you need to write a book, man.
Yeah, hate to use the F word. He ain't no faggot. You lied. And I'm running down the block. Catch me if you can. I'm out of here. Because he found the evidence and let him know there was much more than hair relaxing going on.
Wow, that was, whoa. That's, wow.
So when I say I speak from some experience, yes, so that had to be curtailed. I ate my way, not to obesity, but I was just very heavy. And it was weird because I didn't look as heavy as I really was. In my clothes, I know how to carry the extra weight and stuff. And it wasn't like maybe 600 or 700 pounds like that, but it was a big drastic change because you see, what most people don't understand is that I won't say I was an athlete like I did boxing and I messed around with that, but bodybuilding, they say athlete, but to me, whenever you do something physical and you stop, those guys see more of a downfall with their health than the people who did things moderately. And it was like I was trying to kill that part of me because it was, and we'll talk on other shows, on other levels where it'll be that show that you might not put on. I will, because I've seen demons in these situations. I've felt demons in these situations. I've seen it with my third eye, meaning the Holy Spirit, not where I physically seen it, but there are things I physically saw in front of me, around me. And it's only God that kept me up. It's only Him, because there's no way I could have gotten through that maze of minefields and traps and fallen victim time after time. Not even just like, well, a couple of years. Give or take, a decade and a half, 2 decades, whatever. See? A long time. Because I know, and I hate to take it off of the subject, which is flowing, but I know I was ordained by Satan to be a seducing spirit. And that scared the mess out of me because I know the end of that. Because, this is why I live a monk-like existence and happy with it. Because I ain't going out there and falling victim to certain things and that so-called decadent throne is waiting for me. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. And others would admire you and egg you on. Hey, man, I don't know how, man, she never paid me no mind, but I don't know what you said in them 15 minutes, but I saw what happened in the backseat of that car. I don't want them kind of powers. I don't want to go to hell. Ain't nothing that sweet to make me lose my eternal life. No. Give it to somebody else. They might want it. And I saw that. No way. Meeting people in that industry, knowing people and just people that walk up to you and they just walk up to you. They see that you have this kind of spirit and things, I don't know, I would never do this with a man. I never did this so quick. Oh, God, please don't. I was like, no, that's okay. I won't tell nobody. Back when I was in that thing, you see?
Yeah.
Because I knew. I was raised away to know spirituality, to know God, and walked away from it. Because I said, wow, I'm older now and I'm a teenager. Look at this body I got. They're grown men who aren't built like this. It was a game for me because that little insecure boy with issues of anger, issues of not low self-esteem per se, but it was a form of it also, too, because the world was changing. And I was a little intimidated by what I saw because technology and all these things to learn, and and things were telling me, well, you can't master that. You can daggone sure master this. You can rule in this world. It'll give you attention. I'm telling you, only God kept me alive. I am not proud of what I did.
When you say that, I can relate to that because I know somebody who gave into that part of themselves.
Yep.
I know somebody. I know a guy that's a pimp, and I mean, you hear him speak for a minute, it's witchcraft. It's straight up witchcraft. And God has ordained him to preach. And at a young age, he was preaching. But when he put his eyes on man and not on Christ, that's when he fell off because he got discouraged by what he saw around him.
Right.
He saw the so-called people of God living a life contrary to what they would preach on the pulpit.
There you go.
And so he decided to become a pimp. And see, what the enemy did is, because this guy was at a young age, he was in classes like what you would call slow classes, where he was considered, slow or whatever. But the enemy was working in his life through manipulation, through witchcraft, through all these different things. And what happened is when God let his gifts begin to shine, his intelligence, he decided to give into the enemy instead of living his life for Christ. Because to me, anybody who makes that ultimate decision, because it's considered the easier way out. And what the enemy had was so flashy for his life. The lust of the flesh, the cars, the women.
Right.
And I call myself, trying to impart a word from Christ, because he came to me and he said, you have a word for me. He said, you have a word. And I was scared of him because when I heard him speak, it was witchcraft. And what I mean by witchcraft, I mean, you ever hear somebody speak and it becomes mesmerizing and it could put you in a trance? And he used his words so eloquently. So I didn't want to talk to him. This was last year. I didn't want to speak to him, but he came to me. And I think he came to me because when you see me, people see a kind soul. So they see kindness as weakness. And so when I think he saw me as some of the women that he pimps out. Not that he would pimp me out, because that ain't going to happen. Right. But I think he saw me as that kind and gentle soul and that person who was easily controllable and easily to be manipulated.
Exactly.
Some people see a soft person and they just think, I can do whatever they want with them. But no, you can't.
Exactly.
Because, see, I belong to the Most High. And I may look soft, but I got angels protecting me. There's no way in the world I could be the person I am and I'm not protected. I am protected to the max capacity. And I know that because I have spoken with my angels before. I have spoken with angels that have protected me before.
That's right.
And so he came to me, and if I call out his name, you'll know who he is. He came to me and he said, he said, you have a word for me. And I was scared to talk to him. I was like, I don't want to talk to this man. So as soon as I start talking to him, those demons. So when I looked at his pictures, right, I could see his pictures and I see demons. It's like it's like a demonic. It's like spirits are all. It's this bad, evil spirit all in him, right? And I start telling him, you need to come to, I start, not testifying, but just, because this is the thing. The reason why I spoke to him in the first place, because the Lord had given me a vision that something bad was going to happen to him. So I said it would be my duty to at least advise him because I got a vision of it. I get visions and I get dreams. I get all kinds of stuff I don't talk about on my channel.
Yeah,
and
I know you do. I know you do.
He came to me. He came to me and as soon as I start trying to speak a word of God in his life, those demons started fighting me. They came out like with claws out. I'm talking about in the spiritual world now, fighting me.
Yes.
And so I was already sick when I was talking to him at the time, and I started to get a little, feel a little sicker. And every time I wanted to reach out and impart something, it was like something was like trying to hold me back in a spiritual sense.
Yes.
So this man knows that he's been deceived by the devil. And I told him myself straight up, I didn't mince my words. Because I don't care who you are in this world. I don't care if you're famous or whatever you got going on. I don't care who you are. Right. If I got something to say to you and you said you coming for a word, you going to get a word. You ain't going to get no minced words from Constance. You want some minced words, you better go to another woman or another person who don't know who they are. And so I told him what I had to say, and I don't know what impact it had on his life, but he later came back to me, and he was like, Constance, I had this dream. He called me out the blue. He said, I had this dream that this ball of fire was chasing me. He was telling me all this stuff about this dream. So
wow.
He was telling me this stuff. It was a detailed dream. And I wanted to know what, and I got the revelation on the dream. And I texted him and told him I had a revelation, but he never followed up. And all this strength that this man is conveying is straight up weakness. Because let me tell you something. In the world wants to make you think that you're something because you're something before man. That's a deception from the enemy.
Yes. Because
at the end of the day, when you meet Christ, when you meet our Creator, ain't no man gonna be standing around. The people ain't gonna be around cheering for you. It's you. You have to give account for your life and the decisions that you have made. So it's people out there, they want help, but sometimes they're not strong enough to receive the truth. Let me tell you something. The truth hurts. I got plenty of people that back away from me because I tell them the truth. I start speaking truth, people don't want nothing to do with me no more.
They don't call me no more.
They don't talk to me. But this is the thing. If you're going to be my friend, I'm the type of woman, Lance, I'm not going to lie to you. I will not lie to you. I have people who walk away from my life all the time because this is the thing. If I can't keep it real with you, you don't need to be have a friendship or a relationship with me.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just feel sorry for this man because he's being praised by the world. What is it to gain the world and lose your soul?
Right.
What is it? What is it to gain the world and lose your soul? He keeps telling me, I'm going to get out of this lifestyle in 5 or 10 years, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to come up, and I'm going to be. Who says you have tomorrow?
Right.
I had that vision about him. I don't just get visions, Lance, for nothing. When I get a vision, some of my dreams, they come true. Not all of them, but some of my dreams. And when I get a vision about something, I don't just, it's not random. I got that vision and it scared me. So I did my part. I mean, whatever he chooses, whatever lifestyle he chooses to live, I did. Constance did her part. She didn't punk out. So I feel comfortable with it. But we have to be strong enough to understand when we're being heavily deceived by the enemy. Because the enemy will keep you in that trap, running a race, and then when you at the end, you realize you were heavily deceived. And then you don't have the opportunity to look back. You don't have the opportunity to make right what was so wrong. And it was so right in your life because everybody most people who don't really understand the true identity of who they were created to be, most people will lean to the things that are the obvious successors in life. Having a lot of women, having a lot of cars, having a lot of money, having a lot of sex, having things the way you want things versus the way the Most High has called things to be in your life. I feel sorry for that brother. I don't have the kind of money that he has. I don't have some of the stuff he has. But, I know I'm right with God. I would rather be right with the Most High than to have everything the world has to offer. Because anything can change at a drop of a dime. Anything can change at a drop of a dime. And if you are not in your proper position, that's an opportunity for someone to lose their soul. You come to this earth.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You go this whole life. What does it make sense for us to live and then go into eternal death? Not eternal life, but eternal death. People think the afterlife is a joke. Bless you. Did you just cough?
No. I didn't cough. I was blowing because I was like, woof, what you're saying is so powerful.
Yeah.
I cough.
I thought you coughed. I was like, what is it for someone to, because people don't take life seriously. People be thinking life is a game, and we don't people don't understand the concept that this is just a part. You were speaking about it earlier. This is like this on this earth is the training, really. It's the preparation for eternal life. And if people don't take their life serious now, my goodness, what will happen to you? You don't take what you have available to you now. You make this life about all the wrong things. That's why I stopped. I decided, let me not care. Let me not focus on other people and what they think about me. Let me focus on living righteously and doing what I'm supposed to do. I can't save the world, but surely when I focus and do what I'm called to do, I can save myself.
That's right. And the burden is greatly reduced when you focus on yourself. Isn't that something? That when you can focus on the world and pleasing people and attempting to impress people, something that is so superficial and so fleeting, and it means nothing. And we do this our whole lives. But if we focus on ourselves and work toward pleasing the Most High, it's so much easier, even though it's a battle, because if we have those demons on us that we still love and still play around with, it's going to be a challenge. But once you break free and you focus on yourself, you're like, wait a second, you broke through to a different atmosphere. When you see that spaceship go up and they have the rockets on it, and it's going up so, using all this energy, and those little booster rockets fall back to the earth, and the spaceship is just chilling, floating in space. The battle's over to get through that atmosphere. But this atmosphere, without those booster rockets of faith and commitment, you'll never make it to that atmosphere of the afterlife, that transition, where you can learn so much more. You have your soul, you have eternal life, and you made it. See, I look at it like this. We have bodies, we have heads, and our heads determine by what we think where we go.
Yeah.
And I see the similarities. Not to be lewd, but this is just biology. I see the similarities with sperm. You got one egg. You have all these sperm. And they have heads and directions in which they swim. And it is a hostile environment, swimming up against gravity and in this place that the odds are against you. But it can be done. Now, every sperm can't hit an egg, or that one egg. But we got it easier. We have the possibility of hitting that egg of eternal life. So we all have our own one egg that we can hit. So the odds are increased in our favor. But we allow others to take us away from the mission of hitting that egg of righteousness internally from within. We made it. You and I are the sperm that won out. We won the great race. But isn't it sad how we can be so capable of winning the great race, where we were racing against billions of other sperms? Some had to head to swim in the same direction. Some were a split millisecond behind us, that if we paused for that small measure of time, we wouldn't have made it to this plane. So now, we're on this plane now, and we all can make it. This is an easier race, but the race is not with everybody else and pleasing them on their path. The race is holding true to what we know is right, and we all can make it. And it's sad when we realize that we threw it away, those of us who threw it away, that the hardest part was really over.
Wow.
This is just a victory lap compared to that other race.
Wow.
Compare the two races. This is easy. No matter what you have to go through on this level, this is easy. See, that other race had one winner and nobody else out of billions. But this race, everybody can win. And Satan has us so gassed up. See, that race wasn't too long of a time, though. It was very intense. But this race can be 70, 80, 90, 100 years. Sometimes 30 years. Sometimes 17 years. And we throw it away by all these distractions. We lose our focus. How will we feel? How would you feel to go to college and pass everything with flying colors, and that last semester you goof off and fail the test and you don't get your degree?
Wow.
Does a person who runs a marathon run 25 and 7/8 miles and stop to have a conversation with somebody? No matter how much you want to talk, you know what you've been through and you know what you've done and how far you've come. You have to keep going. I'll see you later. But I can't stop to talk right now, devil. And I won't see you later because I'm not coming back to you to talk because you have nothing for me. See? There are a lot of distractions out here, and we're almost there. Don't give up now. And don't let him take away our salvation while we're running the easiest part of the race thus far. No matter how hard it is, we all can be the winner. That's just really what I want to convey. That the sperm only had one chance, and he won, she won, whatever you want to call it, X, Y, and all this chromosome, whatever. But you're here. So these obstacles, in my mind, it's not as hard. So there is no excuse, especially when you're promised something on top of that. You're promised this. If you get through this and please me by submitting to what I want, you got this. And we move like we're not promised anything. We move like we go into a job where we're not sure if we're going to get a paycheck or not. Who wants to work when you don't know you're going to get a paycheck? Well, Satan has deceived us in making us feel that there is nothing after worthwhile, and you're not worth anything. And I'm going to rob from you the prize that is right there. You have your hands around the base of the trophy. You just haven't closed your hands to grab the trophy yet. But you got the trophy. As a matter of fact, in this race, you're promised the trophy. And it's first place for each and every one of us. But he's fooled us so much to make us think that we don't have it at all. I'm not worth anything. Let me just let these men have me. as a woman, have me. I'm not worth anything. Let me just go get a hit of crack and feel a rush of something to the pleasure center of my brain, because there's nothing. And here you are at the finish line. Well, all you got to do, like when you see the runners running toward the finish line and they're running tight with somebody else, and all you got to do is lean in. You're already there. But you're not racing against anybody. You're fighting against a Satan that wants to keep you from crossing that finish line. You know how much sorrow that brings our Creator? But He told us it was going to be this way. How many women, fellas, can you go to bed with? Why are you doing this? And I will tell you that the more you do is the more diminished that feeling that you think you're going to get. If you like chocolate cake and you keep going every day to get chocolate cake, and that's your favorite, after a time, it won't taste as sweet as if you stayed away from it for 6 months. But this kind of cake that Satan offers, you don't want any of it. But he makes it seem so sweet. And like I say, and I'm not trying to be lewd, but you have the right to smear chocolate icing over feces. But you don't have the right to call it chocolate cake. And if you think it is, you go ahead and take a bite and you tell me what you found out. So Satan is offering all of us cake. And it looks so good. The sweet icing over it. Little balls, little decorations and roses and things, and we think we got something. And at the end of the day, which is really our time here, we don't really have cake. You know what it is. You took a bite, now you face eternity, which you can't have because you gave up on it. You took the lesser of this great gift that we have. So nothing's running me away from that great gift. Call me weird, call me a recluse. If I got to not be around people to heal, so be it. If I got to just not indulge, if I got to go out, look, they'll call you weird. If you got to, look, there was a time in my life I said, you know what? If I can't shake this lust thing, I'm going out in the woods. I ain't seeing nothing. I'm going to be a recluse. Because I'm not going to feel that empty feeling no more. Where my life force is stolen. And I'm empty on the inside. And the only way that you can feel a rush quick is to go back into it. Like a man who wants to leave the mob. Like that dude hustling drugs who has that bigger drug dealer and he owes him some time. But he wants to get out of it. The gangs, blood in, blood out. Satan is worse. Because he'll make you feel as though you're riding high off of a temporary illusion that doesn't really exist. The prestige of having a new car and having all these women and having money in your pocket. Now you're laid up in a hospital bed. You had an accident, a car accident. Your spine is broken. You're paralyzed from the neck down. You didn't do right by your money, so the people around you got your cash and they're using it up. They don't even come to visit you. Now you find out what's what. But you know what? You better be glad that you're still alive on that hospital bed to make it right. But you got to make it right while you're up and healthy and running around to show that you had the discipline to step away. And it is hard. You can't tell me that somebody who says, oh, I'm on my deathbed. Let's make it right, God. Well, that's easy, then. While I'm young and strong and all my parts working and the tests are coming at me, let me show it then. Let me have a chance. And I don't think that he's going to, but see, too many of us think, well, I'm a party all the way. Do we know when we're going to transition? I'm walking on eggshells now. Not too many of my friends made it past 50 years old. And here I am turning 55 on April 8th. And I'm like, ooh, 55. I know cats that didn't make it past 18. 16, shot in the head. 22, dead from AIDS. 25, run over by a car. 27, shot in the back and shot in the head from some man that came home and saw you on top of his wife. Just like a ticker going across, shooting the news by. We have our
Lance,
days.
you said you're turning 55?
55 on April 8th. What is this now?
Wow.
March 21st? so a little over 2 weeks. Five.
Wow.
Heck, I remember when I was 2-2 and 1-1. five. Playing the numbers game.
Praise God. Praise the Lord.
And I'm glad, I'm happy to be here.
And praise the Lord for the overcoming of trials and tribulations.
God be the glory. Because it's not because of my strength. I just held on. You see what I mean? Just focus on holding on. You want a deserted island, or you're on an island where the people are trying to cannibalize and eat you up, and here comes a helicopter. It's like, we don't have the time to get you in the helicopter. Grab on the bottom and hold on. Can't be scared of heights now. Hold on. That's what you can do. Hold on. I don't know the depth of all of this, but I know what was told for me to do. My father told me to hold on. For dear life, put all of your consciousness in your hand in that grip. Mosquitoes biting you, the wind's pulling you. Hold on. And the funny thing about it is, you know, we deal with our salvation and that promise of eternal life the same way our bladders deal with us when we push the key in the door as we held it for an hour. All of a sudden, we get weak when we get to the prize. And we feel like we can't hold it anymore. And see, that's the way it is. Satan will intensify his attack on your life right before you get the prize. See? Right before. See, this is what people don't understand. They got the devil as some man in a red suit who, you know, he has a pitchfork. And no, this dude is trying to kill you. He's trying to go beyond killing me because you know what? We're all going to physically pass on. So killing me is not so bad. You want to take my whole eternal life. That's beyond murder. We tend to think that this is a short thing. Yes. This is beyond murder. This is beyond. He's wiping you out of existence. But and you're agreeing to about what you're doing. You have the power over him when you're connected legally to the Most High to banish him, but you give him the power and go for his chocolate cake with the icing, and it's not really chocolate cake. We'll say it that way. And you're gone. And we give it up so easy. And we feel weak before we hit the restroom. Oh, I can't hold it no more. Yes, you can. But because Satan knows you're so close, he makes it seem like you can't hold it. We never wet ourselves up out in the street. We always wet ourselves up 3 and 2 and 4 feet away from the toilet.
That's so true.
There's a lesson even in that. Not to be decadent, but there's a lesson in that. Right before you get a chance to put it where it's supposed to go and follow through, you lose it. And you sprinkle a little bit. And you're doing it. I can't. Because he's intensifying the temptations and the indulgences. He knows you're about to get the prize. See, devils and demons and Satan know how to operate on a spiritual frequency. See, we don't understand. You got an enemy you're fighting as far as the country's concerned, and you have a radio communicating with your troops. Well, guess what? He's miles away picking up your same frequency, listening to what you're doing as far as strategy. Now, of course, today we have digital transmissions that are encrypted. You can't hear. But there's always some way around it. But when we speak our thoughts out, hey, bro, how you doing, man? Oh, man. Where's that old girl I used to see with, man? We broke up, man, but I sure need me a woman. Well, guess what? Satan's there picking up that transmission. Oh, really? I got a devil woman for you. The enemy always understands what we're putting out because demons work and listen to the same righteous frequencies that we speak on. It's like a radio, an antenna, a frequency, and he'll pick it up. And we give it away. The devil don't come bring me no crack. I have no taste for that. The devil doesn't bring me no cocaine and no liquor. I'll tell you what the devil tries to bring to me while I'm driving that bus. And even that ain't working. Because that crack in the armor has been dealt with so strong. That's one of my strongest parts. That's why I can see it coming a mile away. I said, I know exactly what you are. I don't demonize women now. I'm just saying those who may come that way. And I see it. I keep my hat pulled down to the side. I look at my fare box. I keep my eyes straight ahead. There's so many body parts swinging in front of my face all day long, and I understand what it's all about. Not because I'm weak. It's because that was the crack. It ain't the crack no more. You ever see a boxer who has a weak defense, but he works on it so much now he's known for his defense. Or he didn't have power, but he's learned to maximize his power. You work on those parts and you make it strong. Because Satan's right there square dancing with you every step of the way. Those buffalo gals go round the outside. Okay, Satan's here. This old Christian, he's not going to see eternal life. And he's swinging right with you, dancing with you, even being your friend, so you may think. High-fiving you when you have victories, hating you at the same time. See? And he's right there for the opportunistic demon that he is, to right there. Cain and Abel. You look at other people who are Judases and people who are right there, Satan, right there in heaven. How are you going to be in heaven and not want to be there and be jealous? I'm already there.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry to flow like that. I mean, I'm just going.
Oh, no. You were saying some powerful stuff, Lance. I'm just sitting here, honestly, just soaking it in because you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. You said so much. You always say something that really, really makes me think and go into like deep thought. I think, is this okay to end here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because I am finding myself to get a little sleepy. To be honest with you.
And we're going to always continue because our spirits are so fired up that we'll drag the body like, okay, yeah, exactly, and look at me. Not once did I call for sneeze. See, that's what happens. It's something. And I caught this cold like within 24 hours and it hit me. It'll probably be gone tomorrow because I'm on that germ box called the bus all day. And folks are coughing and all of that stuff. But it's okay because I do what I do and I let God take over. And this is such a blessing and such an honor. And it gave me so much to think about. And it helped me in my physical healing because it just roused up my spirit even more. So this cold won't be able to take another ride. Maybe another 2 or 3 hours, I'm going to wake up without it. Trust me.
You are going to wake up without it. You will. I believe that. I know that. And, ginger and honey tea helps a lot, too.
Yes, indeed.
That helps for, to heal colds naturally. But, yeah, you are healed. You are healed, and it will not stay with you for long. So I do believe, I do trust the Most High for that. You are healed. And the word says when two agree on something, it shall be done.
That's right.
And, it's our belief. It's our belief that causes the blessing and the healing of the Most High to be manifested.
That's right.
It's our belief and our faith.
So, my dear sister, I want you to get the best of slumber, and thank you for the words of wisdom that you share with me. I'm going to absorb it, and we have to, let's say one more thing, that we have to understand that even though, say for example, you are single It doesn't matter, because you might be able to speak into a person's life who may be married, because now you're polishing up the gifts of the wonderful woman that you are for your mate. It doesn't mean you can't speak on it. You may not be able to speak on it from experience, but you can speak on certain things from wisdom. Just like I used to be single, now I'm married. But I can still speak to someone who's single because I've been there, done that in my own way. So you're precious all the way around. So, don't shortchange the wisdom that you have. It's precious and it's there for everybody, and continue to be that vessel and that light for people who need you, because this world needs you. There's so much darkness out here, and you shine a light. And I really applaud you and respect you, even for the time you said, I'm going to get off of social media for a while and focus. This is what we have to do. Never be afraid to take a step back and go and heal and go explore and meditate. You can never go wrong. You can never go wrong when you're in that boxing match and you get hit with a hard blow that might buckle your knees. That next round, you coast and you rest. You give the round away because you're still in the fight. Too many of us go through experiences and want to just come right back at it when we need to back up and contemplate and strategize and heal ourselves, because that one round does not make the fight. Think for the war. Don't think just on that one battle. And we got the promise, and it's ours. So don't give it up. Thank you so much, sister. I do righteously love you. Mr. Scurv righteously loves you. Brother Keston righteously loves you. And they're going to hear this, and they're going to enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to so much more. And I will get everything fixed over here with the sound so we can continue to vibe and enrich each other's lives in God's name.
Most definitely. I really genuinely appreciate all of you, and I genuinely appreciate the prayers that were much needed. Thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate it. It's the Lord is with us. Our Father, our Creator is with us, and there's no battle that's too hard or too tough for Him to help us through. And what I find is that when we face things, a lot of pain is going to be exposed, but when we are willing to face things, when we make it through, that makes us stronger. That makes us have a healthier mindset, and it also shows us our genuine, true value that our Father has placed within us. So if your battles are rough, then your value is high. The enemy wants to fight us on every arena, but he does not have the victory. But when you maintain that understanding of who you are in Christ, when you maintain that understanding of the vision for your life, you can have a ton of things thrown at you, said about you, but as long as you keep on moving up that mountain, it doesn't matter if sometimes you're crawling, sometimes you're walking, sometimes you're running. Whatever you do, no matter what, stay moving. Stay moving. Life is ever evolving, and we must stay continuously moving with purpose. Make sure that your moves are purposeful moves, but never stop, never stay stagnant, and never listen to the voice of the enemy. Listen to our Creator. He is the voice of healing, rejuvenation, protection, strength, motivation, determination. So I thank all of you. I thank your beautiful wife. I think is it Kinston? I thank him too. I'm a little bit sleepy. Yes, I think I'm just tired. I'm sorry. I thank all of you for your prayers and words of encouragement. It means a lot, and I feel that love coming to me, and that just helps and encourages me even more on my walk. So thank you very much.
Thank you. You have a wonderful night, and I'll have this up by tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Take care. Have a blessed night and get well.
You too. All right. Thank you. Night.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. All right. Bye.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at LanceScurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under LanceScurv.